When an earthquake occurs under the ocean, what people on land see afterward can be a terrifying sight. Underwater earthquakes not only cause giant tsunamis, but they are also a potentially devastating threat. Tsunamis caused by earthquakes can strike suddenly and with catastrophic results, destroying coastal cities, taking lives and leaving a trail of destruction that lasts for a long time. Although underwater earthquakes do not always cause tsunamis, when they do, they have the potential to cause disaster. Coastal communities must always be on the lookout for warning signs from meteorological agencies, because an underwater earthquake can be the beginning of untold disaster. After the massive eruption, an invisible cloud of toxic gas settled near the lake, killing 1,700 people, along with about 3,000 animals. The cause of this disaster is believed to be related to volcanic activity at the bottom of the lake, where CO2 gas accumulated over a long period of time, trapped under enormous pressure. However, when the amount of this gas exceeds the tolerance level, it can suddenly escape, just like the way a can of Coca-Cola opens with strong compression. What is even more frightening is that this disaster is not the only event in history. Scientists warn that a similar disaster could happen again, but this time on a much larger scale. Lake Kivu, located on the border between Rwanda and Congo, currently contains a large amount of CO2 and methane, with an estimated 55 million cubic meters of toxic gas. These waters, fraught with danger, could threaten the lives of the more than 2 million people who live around them. And who knows how many other lakes on the planet pose a similar deadly threat, a silent killer waiting to erupt. What is the scariest thing you can encounter in the ocean? Many people immediately think of the great white shark, one of the most ferocious and dangerous species. With sharp teeth and a terrifying appearance, great white sharks are often a nightmare for divers or underwater filmmakers. Looking at images of them, you will probably reconsider the idea of swimming in the open sea. However, is this fear really worth it? According to statistics, in the past 200 years, there have only been about 350 unprovoked attacks by great white sharks recorded, and only more than 50 of them were fatal. This number is really small compared to what we imagine. On December 26, 2004, an earthquake under the Indian Ocean caused a disaster that no one could have expected. The tectonic plates moving in this area, with a distance of 1,500 kilometers and a displacement of 15 meters of rock, created a huge amount of energy. That amount of energy was equivalent to being able to boil 150 liters of water for every person on the planet. The impact of the earthquake was not only the tsunami and its devastation. The feeling of movement underground was felt even at a distance of up to 7,000 kilometers. It was strong enough to change the rotation speed of the Earth, an effect that scientists had not recorded in other earthquakes. With its terrible power and widespread destruction, the tsunami claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. For the victims and the affected communities, the consequences were completely unpredictable, and the pain from this disaster still haunts to this day. Not all underwater creatures will kill you outright, but some can inflict excruciating pain, like the lionfish. Despite their vibrant appearance, these fish have razor-sharp venomous spines. A single touch can cause burns, cramps, and paralysis. While rarely fatal, their toxins can cause unconsciousness, opening up a much larger danger at the bottom of the ocean. Don't let the triggerfish's friendly smile fool you. With their powerful jaws, they easily crush the hard shells of mollusks and sea urchins. When provoked, triggerfish can attack divers, inflicting pain with their sharp teeth. The ferocity of the ocean is reflected in the way each creature, from triggerfish to manatee, has developed unique survival strategies, turning it into a mysterious battlefield. Beware of box jellyfish, one of the most dangerous creatures on the planet when swimming. Although fragile and nearly invisible, this species possesses venom that can cause death within 4 minutes of contact. Just one box jellyfish has enough venom to kill 60 people in 3 minutes, making it one of the most dangerous creatures in the ocean. With its terrifying toxins, Box jellyfish are a testament to the harshness and fear of the underwater world. The Bermuda Triangle is famous for its mysterious disappearances of ships and planes. Every year, about 8 to 12 ships disappear without a trace. A strange event on December 22, 1967, further fueled theories such as unusual magnetic fields, methane gas, or extreme weather. However, the truth remains unknown, making this area always fascinating and mysterious. Ocean flora, especially algae, not only provide oxygen, but also pose a hidden threat to marine life. Some algae blooms deplete oxygen and release toxins into the water, harming marine life. This is a bad deal that no species wants to face. Red tide is an explosive phenomenon of toxic algae, causing serious damage to marine ecosystems. In Florida, an outbreak killed 452 sea turtles and 92 manatees. Satellite images show the enormous scale of this phenomenon, emphasizing the level of threat it brings. Although catastrophic algal blooms are rare, the possibility that these creatures will thrive in the future cannot be ruled out. Rising temperatures and human pollution are creating conditions for toxic algae to expand their influence, putting marine ecosystems at greater risk. On December 4, 1872, the merchant ship Mary Celeste was found drifting in the Atlantic Ocean with its cargo intact and enough food for 6 months, but the entire crew had disappeared without a trace. To this day, their fate remains a mystery. On March 4, 1918, the U.S. Navy ship USS Cyclops disappeared with 309 people on board while traveling from Barbados to Baltimore. No debris or trace was ever found. More recently, in February 1963, an oil tanker sent its final signal and disappeared. After 19 days, only a few pieces of debris and life jackets were found, but no sign of the 39 crew members. These disappearances illustrate the harshness and mystery of the ocean. While they rarely generate destructive tsunamis, underwater activities can sometimes bring benefits, such as the formation of new islands and the replenishment of minerals in the sea. However, they also release large amounts of CO2 and toxins, threatening the environment and human health. Such an eruption would not only be catastrophic for marine ecosystems, but would also pose a devastating threat to nearby areas, causing silent and unpredictable destruction. You may not be afraid of all the dangerous creatures in the ocean, but when it comes to the depths of the ocean, things can change. Take a look at these images and feel them. You can hear your own breathing as you imagine the sound of them echoing in the vast expanse of the ocean with dozens of meters of water above your head. There is nowhere to hide, no escape route. This feeling can be confusing and frightening, and you may be suffering from thalassophobia, a deep fear of the ocean. Thalassophobia, or the fear of the deep sea, is believed by scientists to be an evolutionary response of humans. This fear may stem from the uncertainty and vastness of the unknown, where countless potential dangers lie. And the truth is, those dangers are not just imaginary fears. The sea is home to many dangerous creatures, from poisonous jellyfish that can attack with just a touch, to giant monsters that we only know of in legends. Whether it is a natural reaction or an invisible fear, thalassophobia is still part of the threats that the ocean brings, reminding us of the danger and limitlessness of the underwater world. If the average temperature of the Earth continues to rise, we will all face increasing risks, especially for areas near the sea. Currently, the rate of sea level rise is twice as fast as in the 20th century, and although some conspiracy theorists may find fiction in this, there is no denying the reality warned by experts. According to the United Nations, by 2100, global sea levels could rise by 40 to 60 centimeters. This could put the Maldives, parts of China, the Pacific Islands, South Asia, and even European cities like New York underwater. However, this risk can be minimized if we take timely action, cutting greenhouse gases, protecting wetlands, and developing flood-proofing technology. Hopefully, with a joint effort, we can prevent disaster before it is too late. Under the ocean, the danger comes not only from great white sharks, but also from other giant creatures such as giant squid. The Peruvian giant squid usually hunts alone, while schools of Chilean giant squid can gather up to 1,200 individuals. With sharp beaks and up to 35,000 serrated suction cups, they can cling to their prey, making escape almost impossible. Some theories even suggest that these creatures may be related to the fall of Atlantis. With their superior strength and aggressiveness, they are a threat not only to marine species. Underwater tsunamis don't look scary, measuring just 30 to 50 centimeters high, but traveling at speeds of up to 1,000 kilometers per hour. Their destructive power only becomes apparent when they approach the shore. While modern technology can detect them, their speed and lack of visibility in deep water make early warning difficult, posing a serious threat to coastal communities. When he heard about the sinking of a ship, the 26-year-old French doctor was not worried because the sea was calm and the chances of saving the crew were high. However, when the bodies of 43 victims were brought to the hospital, all were wearing life jackets. Strangely, most of the victims showed no signs of attack or defeat, but the panic had clearly contributed to their deaths. To prove this, he decided to test it on himself. With no experience in navigating the sea, he crossed the Atlantic in an inflatable boat, carrying only the bare essentials such as a compass, a first aid kit, food, and fresh drinking water. His experiment would have been considered a failure if he had not survived, but in a seemingly hopeless situation, he triumphed. He lost 25 kilograms, squeezed water from Pisces fish to sustain his life, and wrote a will while making the journey. In the end, he survived and proved that, with calmness and determination, humans can overcome any challenge. The test affirmed, in danger, calmness and a strong mentality are the keys to survival. Imagine you're fishing on the shores of a peaceful lake. Everything seems perfect, but suddenly the air is heavy and the tranquility is shattered, like a scene from a horror movie. Except this is reality. Lakes, while seemingly safe, can sometimes pose deadly dangers. In 1984, Lake Manaun in Cameroon suddenly released CO2 from its depths, killing 37 people. 2 years later, nearby Lake Nyos spewed more than 80 million cubic meters of CO2, causing a terrible disaster. These toxic gas outbursts are a reminder that even peaceful lakes can become silent killers if left unchecked. On the fateful day, the 7-meter-long Witchcraft sailed from Miami Beach, heading for Mari Pier, just 1.5 kilometers off the coast. Shortly after, the crew sent a distress signal, reporting that the yacht had collided with an unidentified object, damaging its propeller. Rescue teams arrived at the scene within 15 minutes, but they found no trace of the boat. No flares were fired, despite the crew's promise to provide a signal. Perhaps they did not have time to do so. But even so, the Witchcraft could hardly have sunk so quickly and disappeared completely. What happened? A terrifying theory involves giant creatures at the bottom of the sea. According to official documents, giant squids up to 8 meters tall have attacked ships throughout history, not only in legends but also in recorded reality. For example, in the 1930s, the Royal Norwegian Navy's 15,000-ton oil tanker Brandwick was attacked 3 times by a giant squid known as Lula. Fortunately, the ship's smooth steel hull made it impossible for the monster's tentacles to grip, and it was eventually destroyed by the propeller. Such incidents do happen, albeit rarely. In 2003, a giant squid attempted to attack a French yacht while it was on a round-the-world voyage, but the ship survived. Other ships, like the Witchcraft, have not been so lucky. They have mysteriously disappeared, leaving unanswered questions and the secrets of the ocean's depths still shrouded in darkness.